Hi, my name is Misha Calvert, and this is Film on Tape, an audio library of everything that I have learned as a filmmaker. I really hope that this is helpful to you in some way. And if it is, feel free to check out my website, mishacalvert.com. You can see my writing and directing there, and you can also sign up for very occasional emails that I send. All right, on to the show. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how to act on camera. This is a very big topic that I can speak about for days, if not weeks, and many people go to school to learn for years. That's not exactly true. Most actor training programs are focusing on theater. On camera acting is easier to learn and maybe harder to master, but entry level, it's pretty easy to book work as a film and TV actor. A lot of the actors I know who are booking the most right now do not have very much training. There's a lot that goes into being a film and TV actor who works, and actually very little of that is the rigorous athletic craft that they teach you in MFA acting programs. So I'm probably going to piss some people off with this episode where I break down what I think are the essential elements of knowing how to act on camera. The first thing that I recommend is to not think of on-camera acting as acting. If you start acting in the sense that theatrical training programs have taught you to act, you will be perceived as acting badly. It will come across as fake. It will seem forced, pushed, not believable, inauthentic, wooden, corny, hokey, etc. So I encourage the new on-camera actor to not think about acting at all, but to simply think about reacting to the person that you're speaking to. Being very present with them and imagining that the scene is actually happening with them. So let's say it's a scene where you walk into a store and you are robbing the store and you want the person behind the counter to empty the register and give you the money. But you're doing it in a very kind of non-violent way. So you do have a gun, but you are instead being conversational and trying to convince them to do it so that you don't have to shoot them. The best way to attempt to do that scene is to imagine that for real, the person who is reading opposite you, if it's an audition, you're going to have a reader, that they have money. You want to get the money. You in real time, real life. You're not a character. You're you. You want to get that money. You do have a gun, but you don't want to shoot that reader for obvious reasons. So you're trying to reason with them and convince them to give you the money that is in their backpack that's at their feet or something. So the closer you can get to doing that for real, where you are actually thinking and feeling the thoughts that you would think and feel if you were robbing somebody, the better your performance is going to be. It's really just like make-believe when you were a kid. You're not kind of putting it on. You're not mocking it up, doing a character. You're just making believe. And when we're kids, we have this incredible ability to go all in where, it's not like a cardboard sword. It's a real sword, and you're actually stabbing somebody with it. You're actually killing them. Not in real life, but in your mind as a child, that's what's happening. So the closer you can get to that experience where you are thinking and feeling as though it's really happening, the better. This is why it's really important to have a live reader, if at all possible. Actors who are really trained and have been doing this a long time, especially if they're getting a lot of auditions, they may not always feel that they have access to a reader, or, they think that they can just maybe record the lines themselves and play it back and kind of read for themselves. I never do that. It's so weird to hear somebody's voice twice on a tape. And it also really does you a disservice because you have no one to play off of. It's just an audio recording of your own voice and you're like looking into space as though there's somebody there. I just think if at all possible, whenever possible, get somebody in the room with you, especially for dramatic auditions, so that you really have somebody to play off of versus somebody who's just on a FaceTime or on a Zoom or whatever, literally on the phone without any picture at all. If at all possible, get somebody there with you in the room. You're just going to get a much better, more realistic product. So going back to what makes an on-camera tape really compelling, we want to see you thinking and feeling. We don't want to see you convincing us that you're a character. That is boring. But if you are thinking and feeling as yourself and your thoughts happen to be of a different quality than they normally are, but they're still your thoughts, that is compelling. We don't want to see you thinking about how to construct this character believably. That takes us out of the scene because the camera really looks into your eyes and it sees your soul. It sees your thoughts. It can read your mind. And whatever you're thinking of, just go with the assumption that we're going to be able to see the quality of those thoughts. And we're going to see the quality of your emotions. So your thoughts and your feelings are your superpower, not how much you can sort of muscle your way through a scene and fake it out and convince us that you are this character. We just really want to see your thoughts and your feelings. Even if they're, you're using substitution, so you're pulling from your own life to try and be present in the scene. Even if you're thinking about somebody different than the person you're talking about in the scene, if it's in the kind of the same ballpark, we're going to be able to tell that this is really alive for you. And that is going to lead to a much more compelling scene. Can I jump in for 1 second and just tell you that I love coaching people? I've been doing it for over a decade, working with high net worths, executives, a lot of actors, a lot of writer-directors, people looking to activate their creativity. I freaking love it. The thing that I like most about it is that we really, really get results, whether that's bringing in 5 or 6 figures more of income, if it's getting signed by a manager or an agent, if it's booking a Broadway show. I have helped my clients do all of these things. You can find out more at clubvermillion.com, or you can always send me an email at info@clubvermillion.com. I would love to speak to you on the phone about it. You can sign up for a free call. So wherever you want to get to, I would love to help you get there. Okay, back to the show. As far as prepping for on-camera acting, the good old given circumstances, the 5 W's, who, what, where, when, why. If you can just figure out who, what, where, when, why, who am I talking to, where are we, why do I want this thing from this person, what am I trying to get from them, and when is this happening, and how soon do I need the thing from them? So prep your 5 W's, but then absolutely forget the homework. You don't want to show your homework when they call action. You just want to remember, okay, what is the one thing that I want from this person at the top of the scene? And the homework will float up. If you've done the work and you've put in the time, the homework will come to you in the right moment. You don't need to search for it, and you certainly don't need to show it. You just want to start the scene in a realistic way where you know why you're here in the scene and you know what you want and you intend to get it. One of the worst things that you can do for yourself as an actor when you're preparing is set your delivery. So what that means is, let's say you're worried about being able to nail the audition. So as you're memorizing your lines, as you're preparing, you want to practice the delivery of how it's going to come out. Usually to reassure yourself that you are able to, in fact, do a good job. Well, the problem with that is if you serve up a sort of canned delivery, like a delivery that you've practiced before, it's not interesting. It's not fresh. It's not realistic because we don't usually do that in real life. We don't usually rehearse what we're going to say to somebody for, several times in a row before we actually say it. Like, very rarely do we do that. I've done that for gearing up for a fight with somebody, and that's like 0.01% of my lifetime. Usually I am not rehearsing what I'm going to say to somebody, and I am at best just thinking about what I want to say. So your best, freshest performances are going to come when you do not set your delivery. And I would even caution you against doing the same kind of delivery repeatedly when you're prepping. I would change it up so that you are exploring different intentions and different tactics for how to get what you want each time that you are running the scene in rehearsal. You can also memorize without any intonation at all. You can memorize flat, monotone, so that the words are in your mouth, but you are not creating accidentally associations or accidental delivery setting while you're prepping. I know some actors who only memorize monotone because they don't want to get anything set in their body or in their voice before they start recording. And then one of the most helpful things is to be memorized. If you're not, it can really take you out of the scene. And if you're using a teleprompter, that definitely is going to take us out. I mean, unless you're advanced with a teleprompter, I know very few actors who are really good at staying present in the scene while also using a teleprompter and their eyes aren't darting back and forth. So if you absolutely have to, and it's a huge mega scene and you can't get memorized, in the event of an emergency, sure, teleprompter, but by and large, I caution against that. And I say, if it's just a quick scene or you don't get that many auditions, really try and be off book because it's just going to improve the work if you're able to do so. A couple troubleshooting tips for actors. I've heard some actors that have gotten the note before, don't be so big, don't be too big, you're too much, you're taking up too much space, or, What that means is just that you don't have to magnify what you're doing. That usually is a note that people get who have had theatrical training. And what theatrical training teaches you to do is, ideally, you're still operating from the truth, just as you are on camera. You're operating from the truth, but with theatrical training, you are magnifying the truth so that they can hear you in the back row in the theater. It's not that you're having an untruthful experience, it's that your body and your voice and your energy are magnifying that truth. The problem is the camera is also a magnifier. So if you're magnifying something that's already magnified, it appears to be far too much. So you actually have to learn on camera technique, you have to deprogram theatrical training so that you are no longer magnifying what you're doing. And that includes acting on the text, that includes amplifying your body, that includes amplifying your facial expressions. You don't want to amplify, you want to just stay in your naturalistic, grounded baseline truth of how you speak and act, how you behave, and use that as your baseline, and you can adjust from there. So you're not going to want to act or speak in a way that is vastly different from how someone would act or speak in just in a room, in normal life. It's not about not being big. Truth knows no size. It's really just a great statement to bear in mind. It's not about being too big or not big or big or small. It's about not amplifying or magnifying the truth when you find the truth. So in summary, the best on-camera acting is not really acting at all. It's talking to your reader and trying to get something out of them for real in real time. And if you can make them blush or make them afraid, obviously not by ever touching them or harming them or, coming close to them, but through the power of your performance, if you can genuinely elicit an emotion from them, that's it. You have done your job. And given circumstances, if you want to prep, your superpower is your thoughts and your feelings. Your eyes are the truthful window to your soul. We want to see your eyes. We want to see you thinking and feeling. Don't set your delivery. Do memorize. If all of these tips work for you and you are able to execute a self-tape in a way that is better than the other self-tapes that you have done, I really want to hear about it. Please do send me a DM on Instagram and let me know how it went at Misha Calvert. And I love talking about acting. I can talk about it all day long. Thank you so much for listening to Film on Tape. I really hope that it was helpful to you in some way. And if so, please feel free to leave a 5-star review so that other people know this is a good podcast. If you want to check out my work as a writer-director, you can see it at www.mishacalvert.com or drop me a DM. The best way to get a hold of me is on Instagram at Misha Calvert. See you next time.